league, but their defense, bad. Even with sack leader Trey Hendrickson, since he was 25th in the league in total defense and scoring defense last season, Hendrickson holding out. Their leading tackler, Jermaine Pratt, released as well. Hendrickson and the Bengals are talking about a potential contract, but they're reportedly no closer to coming to an agreement. Bengals vets report to training camp a week from next Tuesday. Very likely Hendrickson will not be there unless they get a deal done. So we're still wondering if Hendrickson could be traded, which leads us to a segment we're calling Overreaction or Reality. Danny Cannell is back. Overreaction or reality, Danny? The Bengals will have to trade Trey.
I think that is an overreaction. I think they get a deal done because of what he means to that defense. It was the one bright spot on a defense which was otherwise not very good. And I know they want to keep Joe Burrow happy, and that was the reason they prioritized Jamar Chase and T. Higgins getting their deals done this season, and those players are happy. But I don't know about you, Chris. I watched the Netflix quarterback series with Joe Burrow, and he is not a happy camper. And he had a phenomenal season, but he wants to win. And I'm sure he's in there trying as much as he can do to campaign to say, hey, we need one of our best defensive players on this roster taken care of and keep him happy just as much as we need our key offensive figures happy as well. I think they get it done. I think this could get contentious. I don't think he's there at the start of training camp. I think it could carry on into camp and maybe even get to close to regular season, but it's only July 9th. A lot of this is posturing, trying to take a stance and play hardball, but ultimately I think the Cincinnati Bengals will realize what they have on that defensive side of the ball, and it's not easy to go out and find a replacement for that, so I think they'll get it done.
He's not the only great pass rusher that's looking for a new deal. Micah Parsons heading into the final year of his deal with the Cowboys. Overreaction or reality? Micah Parsons won't suit up for the Cowboys week 1.
I think that's an overreaction. I think Micah Parsons wants to play, and I think at some point when it gets time, the rubber hits the road, I think you'll see both sides come to their senses, and you'll say, all right, we want to make sure that this one, and like Trey Hendrickson, this is a player that's one of the best young defensive players on the league, and Micah Parsons has made it clear he wants to be a Cowboy. I mean, shoot, he even put it out there that maybe he possibly would take less if there was that trade potential for a Myles Garrett, a player like that. While that didn't come to fruition, I love the mindset of Micah Parsons. I think he's a player who wouldn't hold out through a game if he had to. If it takes away from his playing time, I think that's where he draws the line and goes to his team and says, you know what, I want to get this deal done. I don't care what happens. I want to be on the field with my teammates. And I also think Jerry Jones and the front office there with Dallas, they realize the start to the season is so integral. They want to get off on the right foot. They've got a healthy Dak Prescott now. What can be at stake? You don't want to be without your best player early. So ultimately, I think he's on the field week 1.
Being left behind in that division, they just watched half of their division go where they haven't gone in 30 years to the NFC Championship game with the Eagles facing the Commanders. But Washington has an issue on their own in Terry McLaurin, who wants to be paid like the All-Pro he has been, and he might be holding out for more money as well. So overreaction or reality, McLaurin will get what he wants, which is $32+ million and be a top 5 paid wide receiver this season.
I do. I think this is a reality. I think Terry McLaurin is one of the most underrated receivers in the entire league. And it was good to see him last year finally paired with Jaden Daniels. And you saw him once again because he's been one of the more consistent producers at that position. I don't think he's in the discussion for a top 3 wide receiver in the league. So I don't think he breaks the bank and sets a new record. But that 32 million mark is around where I see him. And if you see some of those other players, A.J. Brown right there, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Tyreek Hill, I think is a better wide receiver, but his contract was redone a couple years ago. A lot of times the latest guy kind of sets the tempo, it sets the tone, and gets into that top 5 market. So I do think Washington, they have already made it clear they're sparing no expense. They've been the trade market, they've been active, trying to help Jaden Daniels. They want to make sure Terry McLaurin is there. I think he's got some pretty good leverage, so I think he sneaks into that top 5 highest paid wide receiver range.
Reports, though, that McLaurin is unhappy right now with the way things are moving, or maybe not moving right now in the direction that he wants. Let's get to some quarterback battles now, beginning in Indianapolis. Overreaction or reality? Daniel Jones will beat out Anthony Richardson for the starting job.
That is a reality to me. I am not sold on Anthony Richardson. I thought this was a great spot for Daniel Jones to go, especially if he didn't want to just all of a sudden post New York Giants career, be resigned to just being a backup. I think he wants to be a starter, and I think he'll be more prepared and ready to go and be a more consistent player that you you can rely on that the Colts haven't been able to trust Anthony Richardson. I thought this was one of the biggest risk picks coming out of that draft class, and it hasn't paid dividends yet. The accuracy concerns that he had coming out of college haven't been alleviated, and even more worrisome, he has not been able to stay healthy. Daniel Jones, I think it's been great for him to kind of have a little respite. Now that he's found a new place, I think Shane Steichen will find a way to use him, and I think the consistency that he brings to the table, and he's a really good quarterback. I know he was tossed aside by the New York Giants. He was, his offensive line was mired with injuries. Was Saquon healthy half the time? It seemed like he didn't get great situations. It's a really tough market to play in. I think Indianapolis will ride with Daniel Jones come week 1.
Speaking of tossed aside, Kenny Pickett was tossed aside by the Pittsburgh Steelers, who took him in the first round. He was the number 1 quarterback drafted just a few years ago. Overreaction or reality? Kenny Pickett is going to beat out the former Super Bowl MVP and the 2 rookies on that team for the starting job.
I think that's an overreaction that he starts for them week 1. I think this is Joe Flacco's job. I don't think he'll have a problem beating out Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, so I think he'll be resigned to a backup role. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play at some point, but Kevin Stefanski knows and trusts Joe Flacco, and at 40 years old, I know he seems ancient, but he's still going to deliver and trust somebody you can trust with the offense. We so many times think that players hop around and it's easy to pick up an NFL offense. It is not. You have to learn the new language, the new lingo, and the ability to make checks at the line of scrimmage. It's so intricate, the deals and the systems that you're running. Joe Flacco knows better how to handle it. I think Kevin Stefanski, once the rubber hits the road and it's time to go, I think he'll go with the guy that he trusts the most. Again, I think it'll be a pretty short leash. I think they'll see if he can kind of guide them, be more of that game manager type. But I keep reading about Kenny Pickett, how he's all of a sudden found revival from the year he spent in Philly. He didn't play that much. It's not like he was all of a sudden out there lighting it up. He was in a backup role, and I'm happy for him that he's found another opportunity, and I do think maybe he sees the field at some point, but I'm not sold that he's going to be the guy that Kevin Stefanski trusts week 1 to say, all right, you're our guy. You're the one we're going to trust to lead us to the playoffs.
Have one more overreaction or reality with Danny Cannell. It's about Tyreek Hill. Overreaction or reality? Tyreek Hill won't be a Dolphin come week 1.
That's an overreaction. I know there's been a lot of speculation about Tyreek Hill. Even he has, had some comments that have kind of been contradictory over the past, off season. How happy is he? I think he likes playing in South Florida. I know there's some question marks about his belief in Tua. I still think that's a quarterback that can get him the ball when he's healthy. He plays in a system that's very creative, that they're going to be able to use him in different ways. I think he ultimately is on the Miami Dolphins come week 1. I don't think he's going to get moved, and I think he's going to, again, put up pretty good numbers.
We'll continue the Miami Dolphins talk on the other side of this quick timeout. The culture there is being questioned and has been questioned.
In a move that has shaken up the NFL landscape, the Dallas Cowboys have officially signed Tyreek Hill to a massive contract, bolstering their already potent offense. Hill, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in the league, is now a Cowboy, and this signing is seen as a game-changing moment for a team that's looking to claim its first Super Bowl title in nearly 3 decades. The deal, worth a staggering $130 million over 5 years, is one of the most lucrative contracts in NFL history for a wide receiver. The Cowboys, known for their high-profile moves in recent seasons, have gone all in on their offensive prowess. With Hill on the roster, the team is expected to transform into one of the most explosive and dynamic offensive units the league has ever seen. Tyreek Hill's arrival in Dallas signals a new era for the Cowboys. Known for his lightning-fast speed and deep threat ability, Hill is a nightmare for defensive coordinators. His ability to stretch the field vertically will open up the Cowboys' playbook in ways that haven't been seen in recent years. Quarterback Dak Prescott, already coming off a strong season, now has an even more formidable weapon at his disposal. Hill's arrival also elevates the play of the entire receiving corps, as defenders will be forced to account for his speed, which could lead to more opportunities for other wide receivers like CeeDee Lamb. This move is also a clear signal of the Cowboys' intentions to contend for the Super Bowl. After years of playoff disappointments, the front office has made a definitive commitment to building a championship caliber team. Hill's speed and playmaking ability bring an element that the Cowboys have been missing in recent seasons: the home run hitter. Dallas has long been known for its balanced offense, but Hill's presence on the field will allow the team to strike. quickly and in devastating fashion. Of course, Hill's signing is not just about the on-field impact. His leadership and experience in big games will provide a wealth of knowledge to a young and ambitious Cowboys squad. After playing for the Kansas City Chiefs and winning a Super Bowl, Hill brings a championship pedigree to Dallas. His ability to perform in high-pressure situations will be invaluable come playoff time. For Hill, the move to Dallas is a new chapter in a career that has already been defined by success. With the Chiefs, he earned 6 Pro Bowl selections, 2 first-team, All-Pro honors, and a Super Bowl ring. Now he steps into a new role with the Cowboys, ready to help them reach the pinnacle of the NFL. Hill's electrifying play style and relentless drive make him the perfect fit for Dallas, a team looking to shake off its recent playoff failures and make a legitimate Super Bowl run. For Cowboys fans, this is a moment to celebrate. After years of building a talented roster, the addition of Tyreek Hill brings a sense of excitement and anticipation. With a potent offense now in place, the Cowboys have set their sights on greatness. Whether they can live up to the lofty expectations remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, with Hill in the fold, the Dallas Cowboys offense is officially one to watch. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.